Today's a somber day, folks. It's a somber day. But welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest, the greatest crypto community from Mercury to Pluto, all the planets in between, all of the interwebs. I'm your host, DZ. This is Around the Blockchain. We come to you every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about your favorite topics with your favorite guests. And we're going to have a really, really good one today. We're talking about Bitcoin Day for El Salvador and why did we dump? We're going to break it down. We're going to look at the technicals. We're going to look at the fundamentals. We're going to see what people are saying, and we're going to figure it out for you, folks. So don't you worry. And it's a great one today. We have Tom Crown. You can't miss him. He had a great video that he put out. He's going to put out a really good one, too. So make sure you check him out. And the gas fees are looking pretty crazy, but Tom Crown's not going electric anytime soon. CryptoFace. We also have CryptoFace. On a day like this, you know we have to have CryptoFace on. If there's ever a day to have CryptoFace, it's on these crazy days. So, hey, maybe he can help us explain what is going on. And we also have Crypto Jebb. He's going to have a great video. He talked about the dump this morning, so make sure you check out his YouTube along with everybody else. And, of course, Ben Armstrong. Check his Twitter or mine today for the Pluto Alliance trailer. It just released. Very, very awesome. Yeah, it's only about a minute of your time. Go to Ben's Twitter, or you can check out mine, and
amazing.
It will blow you away. But before we get into that,
I did not think that people in trailers were like our main demographic we were going after here. But
yeah, I've been wanting to buy an RV for a long time. I'd love to have an
who gets abducted? When people get abducted, they're in trailer parks, right?
You can buy an RV in Montana with an LLC and not pay sales tax.
All right, if Bill Gates hasn't bought all the land, that is. All right, well, let's look at the markets. It's been a crazy day. We're going to break down the Bitcoin a little bit later, but let's check out some of these other coins. Ethereum down 13%. It bounced all the way down to about 3,000. Got a little bit of support. Cardano, ADA gang, where you at? Let's get a little hashtag ADA if you want to see Cardano hit back to $3, down 15%. Binance coin, 417. I mean, it's still above 4 at least. There's another really bad one. I was looking at Chainlink. Chainlink down 22% right now. Still 27, still above $25. But, I mean, I believe we saw like around $60 for the height. Litecoin, 20%. ICP, you know me, down 25%. We're not too bullish on ICP around here. I mean, I think it will slowly trickle down as far as market cap goes. But, yeah, it's been a very, very volatile day. VeChain, 12 cents. So it might be your last chance to get some cheap VeChain for this last run up. But so we'll check it out. Tom, we're looking at some of the charts. I know we were mentioning Solana. I mean, you had some crazy things to say about Solana. What is are you worried about? I mean, Solana's kind of going counterintuitive to the markets here. I mean, is this going to continue? I mean, Solana's up 5% on the 24-hour. What's it looking like for you?
Oh, man. Dude, Solana is just the outlier right now. I don't know what's going on here. People seemingly staying bullish here. We have it in dollar pair. We have its valuation against Bitcoin. Just doesn't even seem to be noticing what's going on. I can't explain this. I don't know exactly what's happening. I know kind of discussing maybe NFT related.
Yeah,
I'm at a loss here.
Yeah, if you had some exposure to NFTs with Solana, I mean, some of them are holding their money. I mean, if you went into Solana like to get NFTs, hopefully you haven't bought them yet because, yeah, I mean, everything is just taking a little bit of a tumble. But let's get right into our topic here. Bitcoin Day for El Salvador. I know Jay Chains did his part. I actually bought like my little bit of $30 just on Coinbase just to support, but yeah, it was not the greatest day to do that. I mean,
nope.
So I mean, not only, yeah, I mean, it was before the dump. I bought it when I woke up this morning. You know what? It's only $30. I can't be too concerned. But the citizenry of El Salvador, not all is roses. A lot of them are unhappy with the mandatory effect where Bitcoin is a legal tender. So they're getting a lot of fierce opposition. So the fans are saying, this is a path to economic freedom for people that live in El Salvador. The opponents, they're not convinced. I mean, they saying, the resources should have been directed elsewhere. Jeb, when it comes to El Salvador, I mean, is this the path forward or, should they maybe hold on to their current system of just using U.S. fiat?
Their current system's completely broken. So, no, I don't think that's the right way forward. They've been using the U.S. dollar for a very long time, and it hasn't gotten them very far. They're still a very poor nation, and that's really, really sad. We talk about El Salvador quite a lot on our channel because I think that what we saw today, El Salvador having Bitcoin go online, is going to go down in the history books. Today, September 7th, 2021, we're going to be reading about this in a book in 20 years because this was the first day that a sovereign nation fully adopted Bitcoin and crypto. I think we're moving in the right direction, or by we, I should say, the nation of El Salvador, not me, they are moving in the right direction. Now, look, there are a lot of people out there that rightfully or not rightfully, I'm not from El Salvador, so I'm not going to weigh in on their politics, say that the protests are being faked or that the government is very corrupt. Again, I'm not from El Salvador, but those are topics that people are bringing up. Whether or not you think the government's corrupt, whether or not you think there are protests going on, or that you think they're paid, or that you think whatever you think, there's two things we need to understand. Number one, there are actually very valid reasons why we should be cautious about Bitcoin in El Salvador. Not that we should be bearish on it, but that we should be cautious about our expectations. Whenever a new technology comes online, naturally we're going to see some hiccups. Naturally, we're going to see some time where things have to get figured out. That every single person here on this YouTube channel was not making as quality content the day they started as today. We're all making better content than we were when we started, and the same thing's true for any technological advancement. There are going to be hiccups. Yes, that is true, but that doesn't mean that we should be very bearish on it. The same thing, this is off topic, but for Cardano, for example, there's some issues going on in the testnet that people are talking about. I don't think that that's a concern because we're growing as a space. The point is Cardano and El Salvador are moving in the right direction. That's the first point. The second point is that El Salvador now is going to have not just the currency of Bitcoin. They still have the sovereign currency that is the US dollar. They have both of them. All that happened is that you can pay taxes and every merchant has to use, accept Bitcoin for the nation. So that is not a groundbreaking, earth-shattering development on the side of the people that don't want Bitcoin. If you don't want to use Bitcoin, just don't use Bitcoin. It's not like the US dollar is banned in El Salvador. You can still use it. I think what we're going to see happen are the people that want to and understand how to use Bitcoin are going to, and then people around them over the course of the coming years will see the value in using an inflation-hardened currency such as Bitcoin, and they're going to be very well off for it. Of course, there's going to be hiccups, but I think it's a very bullish thing for the country, and I think they're moving in the right direction.
Now, you bring up a good point. I mean, they can still use fiat. You know, they just, merchants must also accept Bitcoin. If you would have told me, you know, a year ago, hey, there's going to be a day, there's a country where McDonald's will be forced to accept Bitcoin to buy a Big Mac.
Yep.
And then you ask me, what do you think the markets are going to do? I wouldn't have said drop 10, 20%. That's for sure.
Yeah,
now,
seriously.
CryptoFace, you know, what would you say to someone from a third world country who might have a broken monetary system if they're rejecting Bitcoin? Would you agree with them, or would you maybe try to, you know, talk them to the other side of the fence there?
Well, if I was El Salvador, I would have been El Solano and gone with Solano instead, because damn, I got that shit out of $101 last week. Thought I was late and almost doubled my money. So I think they might be a little bit late as far as a country trying to profit. But I wonder what kind of merchant, what POS systems they're actually using to accept Bitcoin. So all these, I got to learn a little bit more about like the implementation in El Salvador of how they're actually going to be accepting Bitcoin, you know, at their businesses. You know, I will say it's kind of, it could also kind of be a test ground. It's dangerous, bro. It could be a kind of like a Soros test ground of, okay, so a country's in on it. How much can he smash them? How much power can the Chinese smash them? Do we even know who dumped? Was it F2 Pool? We haven't heard them for a long time. So who dumped it all? Because it was one guy who fat fingered it all. It was one candle. So A, I want to know who dumped it. And B, I want to know how they're implementing into their POS systems. And three, you know, I think that Solano.
Yeah. If you are the person who dumped it and you're in chat, go ahead and hit that like button. Right now we're only at 800. I know we can we're only at 6,700 watching. Let's get that at least 8 to 10,000. Someone in chat says, remember the 7th of September. I do agree. I think this, you know, this day will go down in history. So we will see. So Ben, all right. So the Congress, you know, last week or about a couple weeks ago, they approved $150 million Bitcoin purchase. But still, the people are rejecting it. Is the main way to educate people or to get them to, you know, enjoy the benefits of having Bitcoin as your sovereign currency? Do we need to do education, or do we just start rolling it out at the merchants and it's sink or swim? You got to figure it out if you're going to stay with the economy.
No, the whole thing's stupid. The whole thing's extremely dumb from start to finish. I'm so sick of talking about this El Salvador story. I know it's the main story today, and we got to talk about it, but. You know, this No one is using Bitcoin as a currency. No one wants to go to McDonald's and pay $5 for a Big Mac. But later on, you look back on and say, "Oh my gosh, I paid $100 for a Big Mac." Nobody
You
wants
don't
to
know
do
that. You don't know that. Just because you aren't doesn't mean other people aren't, bro. You don't know that.
What you think? You think people in El Salvador that make $5 a day, they want to spend that $5 on a Big Mac and Bitcoin? That down the road can be worth 20
You never
times
know if
that?
they might have to, bro. They might have to, bro. That the
you're
only main
right,
source
but if
of income
they
might be
have
on the
to-
internet from Bitcoin. If that's all they got to get through, that's all they got, man.
Why would they not just use a regular currency?
Because
Like,
the other
what's the
currency is the U.S.
incentive?
dollar that's lost 30% of its value.
Look at the dollar
Well,
index.
because man,
going up.
that's I mean,
The
unless
dollar
they sell the
index
if they
is
sell their
going-
The dollar
Bitcoin into
index
the
is a
currency, it's the
joke.
same thing, isn't it? I mean, I could see your
The
point
dollar
there,
index-
but if either way, they're
dollar
still
index
using
is
it. You know what I'm saying?
it's going up. It's swung the other way. The dollar index is going up. That means the purchasing power across the world. I've already told you guys deflation is coming. I know we want to have. I'm just telling you guys this narrative that the U.S. dollar is broken is y'all are going to look so bad in about 6 months for saying this. I'm telling you guys, and I understand it makes logical sense. We're switching to deflation. It is not going to be inflating anymore. And this tired talking point in crypto of dollar bad, everything else good, you guys are going to all eat those words. But that's a whole different subject. The point is,
I agree with
nobody in El Salvador wants to use Bitcoin. Why would they use Bitcoin when they could use a regular currency? You know what? They're going to want to use Bitcoin for about another 2 months until it crashes. And then they're all going to be like, what have we done? So yeah, we got to educate them on what reality is, how Bitcoin works, how it's Bank of America did a full report on Bitcoin, hundreds of pages. You know what they came back and said? The number one value of Bitcoin is it goes up in value. It is completely useless as a currency. Okay. So the people in El Salvador are going to get hosed. They're going to get hosed. El Salvador bought a bunch of Bitcoin. They bought 400 Bitcoin for I don't know what the math on that is. I know you said $150 million. I don't know what that breaks out to. So $20 million. Okay. So they just
they didn't buy the full 100 yet.
Well, no, they bought 400 Bitcoin.
I know. No. I mean, they haven't bought the full 120 or 150 million yet. They've only bought the 400 worth. Yes, they spent 20 million so far.
Okay, so they spent 20 millions on Bitcoin that at this time next year is going to be worth probably 7.5 million. Everybody in El Salvador is about to get destroyed. Oh, you think there's no bear? You think there's no bear market?
No, I think there's going to be a bear market. I just don't think the bear market is going to pull us back down to what would that be, $17,000 from where we are right now? I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I don't think you think that's going to happen. Do you think it's going to go that low?
Well, if it goes to 100K and it averages 85% drop, then yeah, it's going to go to $15,000 to $20,000. That's right, dead on.
I just don't think it'd go that deep.
That's what the history says. The history says that regardless, it's going to be lower than it is right now. And you're going to have a whole lot of people that in the run up for the next 5 weeks or 4 weeks or however long it is, people are going to get real interested, and a bunch of people in El Salvador are going to be like, I'm all in on this Bitcoin thing. And you know what? That money that they saved for an entire year is going to be gone.
The thing you also have to keep in mind is that the first bull market in history was 60,000%. The one from 2016 to 17 was 10,000%. This one's 2,000%. So we can't just extrapolate out, oh, well, it's always been an 80% correction, because I think it's going to have a little bit more going on than that this time.
There's diminishing returns, but there has not been diminishing losses. It's
been
very
all good points. All good points. Well, let's talk about that volatility for a second. So that is a good point. So a lot of people are saying, it's around 2/3 of their population is rejecting, the Bitcoin as their currency. So some are saying, it's not enough education, which is why they're against it. But, Tom, is it maybe they are educated and they do understand the volatility? So what do you think the number one reason is they aren't interested? Is it because they just don't understand it, or because they do understand it and realize, hey, it might lose 80% of its value?
Man, I don't see I don't live there, but I can't imagine being in that scenario and saying, I don't want this. Aren't they just getting free like $30? Like, I don't really get where, where was the upset coming? I don't want to lose this money I got for free. I don't like that part is a little disconnected from me. I can't imagine like an average person being upset about getting, even if it's only worth $10 tomorrow, they didn't pay for it. So I can't really see where the outrage would come from. I think that we're on the right track here. Everyone who's entered crypto at any point, if you've been in long enough, you've seen this, the run-ups, the pullbacks. It's going to be stressful. They're not going to really relax through it, I'm sure, once they see it. They're going to go through the same thing we all do. So I think education is the right move. I kind of doubt that people are upset though. Why? Like, what is there to be upset about? I guess is the question.
I guess if it's a mandatory or if it's compulsory, you know, maybe you won't have the fiat, the U.S. dollars to lean on eventually. You know, maybe it'll just all be Bitcoin one day.
They're upset because they don't understand it. I mean, just think about what we just went through. So I'm trying to fix my cup with my cranberry juice. Listen, they're upset because China just banned Bitcoin mining in their country. They're seeing all this regulatory stuff going on in the United States where the United States can't figure it out. And yet their country is saying, hey, we're going to go all in on this. You guys are severely underestimating how many people out there still think Bitcoin is a scam. And there's a lot of uneducated people in El Salvador that are angry because they think that their government is a laughingstock for accepting a scam. Now, we know that not to be true. I think it's not going to work for an entirely different set of reasons, but that's why they're mad.
Ben, I was going to say, you did have me worried for a second when you're moving your hands quite vigorously and you said, I'm adjusting my cup. I was like, is there a baseball practice? I didn't know what was going on there. Well, there is a game tonight. We do have a tweet that we're going to show. This is from the president. The president bought the dip, essentially. 150 new coins added. We're not talking about French onion. We're not talking about nacho cheese. He bought the dip. He bought more Bitcoin. Now, Face, he bought more today, right as it was crashing. This is all going on Bitcoin Day. Was this coincidental, or was this, you know, one whale with a fat finger or maybe fat something else that just slapped it on the keyboard and said, this is the direction it's heading?
Yeah.
Thumb, Ben. Fat thumb. Jeez. What do you think
I'm hoping Bitcoin recovers in price for El Salvador and their president, because he's stuck in a position now where he has to put up a front like, you know, yeah, I'm buying the dip. And if Bitcoin keeps going down, man, it's going to look really bad. And I've been in that position before, so I know how it feels. And so I don't know where all that Bitcoin, like how it's being distributed or what's going on exactly, like the details of it. But yeah, I all these on-chain people, there's so many on-chain people that, you know, many of us know. Does anyone know where the dumping came? Like I said, what we knew it was F2 pool, Does anybody know who was the fat finger?
Go ahead.
Oh,
I was going to say, well, we have a cascading effects with liquidated longs, and we'll get into that. You know, why did we dump? Let's actually just go to the second
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of liquidations. For example, like when I was in my Ethereum, I was in a bunch of longs last night. Pulled out in time, got playing out, and re-entered a little bit. I ended up like $2, 2 big bucks. But when I was at 4x leverage with Ethereum, maybe even 3x, my liquidation was at 2,900, and I think it was the same with Bitcoin. So, and you know, it goes to all the people in the chat. They're like, "Oh, how come we don't do more leverage? Because that shit can come get you." And man, you know, make sure you put your stops, man, especially if you're going to sleep or you're not going to be there. So you know,
and then you get what we like to call the ByBit night sweats, where you wake up and say, "Did I clet's go to
that. Crazy. I can't help but to feel a little responsible for all those ByBit liquidations.
Yeah, now's the Femex perspiration.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think that when you really look at this and you really step back and you really look at exactly what's going on here, which we all know who's to blame for this. I mean, right? Like, who has the power, who has enough money to be able to dump that quickly at one time to get the markets going? I mean, it's the same. It's the same people that are behind, you know, we're behind the crash in May. And here's like, look, we got two major stories going on today. Okay. We have El Salvador accepting Bitcoin, El Salvador, Bitcoin Day, yada, yada, yada. Then we've got on the other side, we have this gigantic dump. Now let's use our brain for a second and let's zoom out and let's look at these two stories side by side and try to tell me there's not a connection. Okay. What do we know the financial cartel is all about? They want to make Bitcoin look bad so they can accumulate more. So eventually they have all the control of it. That's exactly what this game is about ever since May. Okay. So we got this big day for Bitcoin. Big day. It's like, you know, on your, you know, your daughter's 16th birthday, it's her sweet 16. And then, you know, she crashes her car that day, makes her look real bad. That's kind of what's going on today. This was the coming out party for Bitcoin. Financial cartel manipulates the price down to make El Salvador look bad, to make this entire thing look bad. And of course, when you look at where all the money is going, the money is coming back into Bitcoin. they're accumulating. Somebody made a statement to me. Who was it that made this statement? Was it? I can't remember who made this. But the point is that they said, when it comes to a $1 million Bitcoin, we all believe a $1 million Bitcoin is coming at some point in the future. Almost all retail will be pushed out of Bitcoin by that point. Think about that. All of the institutions will be the ones that own all the Bitcoin when it gets to $1 million. They have to work this game to shake your confidence to have you sell. Now, we're certainly going to sell at the top, and we're going to buy back in to accumulate, but they're on that game too. And so that's what we're seeing, once again, is always in this market, is smoke and mirrors. You got to look behind what's really happening to understand where the money is flowing to. They're accumulating, and if you look back several times on the chart when we've had similar moves to this precludes a gigantic pump. They're trying to shake more retail out, even in the midst of this massive bull rally where we're all like whining and complaining about $46,000 or $47,000 when we were at 29 just 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, me and Justin were talking about that. Every bull cycle, the whales will occur a smaller or a larger and larger percentage of the net total.
Yep.
So I agree. We're at 12,000 viewers, but we don't even have 2,000 likes. I know we can change that. Smash that like button. Someone in chat saying Ben wants to see 15K so bad. It's not that. We're just trying to be honest. We're trying to be transparent. It's not that we do not want to see that. We all want to see Bitcoin. Yeah, we want things going up. Yeah. Well, so we're looking at some of this. It was a very volatile day. It was $7,000 in a matter of minutes. The liquidations, more and more data is coming out. At first, with just that little bit, just that one little candle, about 2.5 billion were liquidated. We actually have a graphic right here, is kind of breaking down the different exchanges. ByBit kind of leading the way. FTX way down there at the bottom. I mean, OKX. So we're seeing billions in liquidations. So over a couple of hours, it went from 52,000 to 43,000. Many are calling that red candle as a violent, drastic red candle. It dumped hard. Tom, what were your thoughts as this was happening? What was going through your head here?
Look at any fixed date in crypto. When we say, hey, the best example I could think of recently, Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. We have a fixed date in the future. We have expectations for it. And those expectations pretty much all in line across the market. Everyone, Dodge is going to go to the moon when Elon goes on Saturday Night Live. Here we go. We have another fixed date. We have another bullish event that we could see in the future. We always see price move the other way. It's just clockwork. It's literally clockwork. And today we dumped almost perfectly $10,000. There's your news headline. There's your spooky. We were talking about we need a spooky event. This could easily be it. We've seen this market just move up basically since July 21st. You could have opened, I think it's anything under 6x long at any point and you wouldn't have gotten liquidated. Today, $10,000 dump, news headlines, all that goes out the window. The technicals were there. It was too many longs were allowed to stay open. Now they're closed.
Now, Jebb, when the shorts get liquidated, we see that huge spike up. When we see the longs get liquidated, it tumbles and then it accelerates. Will Bitcoin ever be free of the derivatives market? Will it be less volatile, or is it's just going to be how it is moving forward? If anything, maybe even worse as the whales accumulate.
So I just had some data come in on my phone while we were here, and ever since midnight of this, ever since 1 minute after this morning, as of about 10 minutes ago, there was $3.17 billion in liquidation, 1.18 of that happening on ByBit, according to the source I'm looking at. I'm looking at another source that's saying 600 million on long liquidation. So obviously we got to understand that liquidation is a very big deal. Number one thing that you need to remember, there is never in any instance a time where you should not be using a stop loss, period. They always use a stop loss. Guys around the panel, tell me if I'm wrong. I can't think of a single instance where you shouldn't use it. That's my first point. My second point is, no, I don't think that this is going to go away anytime soon until certain regulation, like what America has, stopping most, not derivatives, but leverage and margin trading going on happens worldwide, which I don't think is going to happen. And by the way, I don't really want that to happen. But the reason that we don't see these kind of things happen in the stock market is for one of two reasons. Number one, leverage trading on 100 or 200x is largely banned on these more regulated markets. And number two, there are things called circuit breakers that show up on the stock market where the people that run the stock market pull it and then let the market calm down before they let it back on. That is a form of centralization, and it is a form of technically institutionalized manipulation. So I don't want either one of those things to occur. But we actually do see similar things happen in crypto to a circuit breaker, like what we see on the stock market. For example, this sucks, but it did happen. Coinbase went down right when this massive correction was happening. And by the way, I was recording our daily video trying to talk about something else, and then I watched Bitcoin live while I'm recording go from 51 to 42. I'm sitting there commentating on it like a freaking horse race commentator because it's crashing. And I'm literally in the video. It's up on our channel. I'm like, okay, the next level of support is probably 44.8. Okay, that broke. We're probably going to 42. Okay, we're down there now. That's what that was.
I can see it all now. Jebb's head go, bah!
It was really funny. It was really funny. Anyway, my point is, no, I don't think this is going anywhere anytime soon because, to Ben's point, I think there was a lot of manipulation going on. I think these longs got liquidated, one, because what Crown was saying, too many of them, we let too many of them get built up. We didn't have enough corrections to shake out those longs that were over leveraged and not using stop losses. And until there's more regulation in the space, which again, I don't really want, but it is coming, I think this is something that we're going to have to live with. I remember in 2018, I believe it was April the 1st. It was the April Fool's rally. I remember this. April the 1st, 2018. Go look at the hourly chart back then. We rallied 25% in an hour on a short squeeze. And what we saw here was a long squeeze. I think ultimately this might end up being a good thing for Bitcoin because all of the people that were really long got shaken out. So long as we're able to recover relatively well in the next couple of days, we should be okay. But I agree with Ben on his point that a lot of the Bitcoin is now going to be flowing into these whales' hands because that's what they want. And that's obviously not a good thing for any of us.
Yeah, that long squeeze will get you every time. Now, you bring up a good point with Coinbase going down. I've working with Justin too much. I have the most amount of tether on the sidelines I've ever had as far as percentage. And I try to transfer it to KuCoin. I couldn't even sign in my KuCoin. I was going to just buy a regular, like, lower or mid-cap altcoin that had just dumped too hard. Probably maybe would have bought some Chainlink and then not able. So CryptoFace, I know you actually closed, speaking of liquidations, you actually closed your longs over the weekend. We were talking about it in the office. Once again, was this market cipher? Was market cipher kind of showing you some fundamentals, some technicals that you were just saying, this is maybe, some blood diamonds on the horizon? What was the market cipher telling you?
It's funny you mentioned that because when I was live streaming last night, there was one guy in the chat, shout out to him, who was like, what about the 2 hour? There's a blood diamond on the 2 hour of Ethereum and the 2 hour. Can I share my screen here real quick? Am I able to do that? Yeah. Real quick. Or can you do it for me?
It's on your end.
Okay, toggle screen share. I'm going as fast as I can. Okay.
No, it's all good. We probably don't want to see your screen.
Faces real quick here. All right, can you see this?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me pull it up real quick. So it was on normal candles. So yeah, boom. So the 2 hour, I talked about this last night too. 2 hour. This was the worst time frame for Ethereum. Pretty much everything else. You had the money flow curving down, trigger waves coming all the way down. Beautiful blood diamond right there. I mean, we were flat topped right here, and so yeah, man, that played out really good. So shout out to that guy. I forgot who it was. Also, if we switch over to Bitcoin, you see that we came down right to one of our spider line support lines, and we're kind of hanging right at the next one right here too. One thing I will say is I've been tracking CNBC, and pretty much every time it's been bullish, it ends up dumping, and every time it's bearish, it pumps the next day or that day. So we kind of got a bearish thing here. I don't know, man. We might be recovering. We might recover tomorrow. And with everyone getting flushed out, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of a time where some of us big boys, come on and swoop it up, and someone else come in and eat it up. So you can go ahead and take the screen share off. That's all I really need to show right now.
But that's on your end. So okay, yeah. So I mean, with the money flow indicator is going down. A lot of people might not know exactly what you mean. Basically, it's just the water that grows the plants is starting to run out, so the plants might start withering, and they might start withering soon. So, and then blood diamond is a marker that kind of shows manipulation. So yeah, a lot of telltale signs there.
The money's been here. Let me go back. Actually, I feel like I shorted us. let me let me come back to this. So money has been coming down even on the bigger time frames. We're looking at the 12-hour on Ethereum. We can even swoop over to the 8-hour. Like overall, we technically have been diverging down. The amount of money that's in the S&P has been decreasing. There's not as much money there as there was back in August 9th, August 10th. So that technically has been decreasing. If we go to the higher time frames, look at the 2-day. The 2-day has been doing the same thing since a hell of a long time, dude. And so, it can come back up again, but we came back. We're down 10% right now. We had a 20% drop. We're down 10% right now. So, you know, it's not out of the ordinary in any market like that. That happens, and we just get so used to everything going up, you know, for a long time. And you know, when there's a pullback, you know, everyone gets like boom, you know. So, you know, I hope things keep going up, right? And you know, CNBC, I kind of like CNBC showing some bearish shit. That kind of gets me, you know, going.
Well, yeah,
We look at the lower time frames
I
on the
mean,
5 minute to 7 minute. We have money flow. Money flow is increasing on the lower time frames right now. There is money coming back in. So I'm going to be keeping track to see if that starts bleeding into the higher time frames and seeing if I can get back in and ride some of this action.
All right, Frank. The 5 minute candles starting to show good. So you'll be in luck there. Now, chat is saying Ben is angry. Ben, I know you're not. I know you're not angry. When you saw that market cipher, I know you're familiar with it. I mean, are you also feeling a little bit of worrisome? Because I mean, there is some good news out there.
No, there's no. I don't care what the charts say right now. I don't care what the charts say right now. Doesn't matter to me at all. Look, since June, we've laid out everything that was going to happen, and it has all happened according to plan so far. I know we're getting a little nitty gritty here. You know, we're within 1 month, basically within 1 month from now, 5 weeks, we should see the top of Bitcoin. Look, this is nothing more than accumulation. This is manipulation on the way down. We told you in the middle of July it was going to start going up. We told you in the fall Bitcoin was going to top out at 100K. September 28th is our date. I said give or take a week. Recently, I've said it may extend 1 week after that. We could be looking at the middle of October possibly. But all of this is positioning for the big run-up. I don't care what the charts say, because here's the thing. When it comes to this overall diabolical plan that is going on in crypto right now by the people that own 90% of everything to take 90% ownership of crypto, they don't care what your charts say. They don't care. That's why we had a big crash out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden we've had giant pumps out of nowhere. Generally, I would just say for the next couple of months, I don't care what the charts say. All I care about is what I've been told is happening. And as long as it keeps happening, then we're going to keep going with that. And, you know, yesterday, I want to talk about that title that was on that article that CryptoFace showed from CNBC. What it said, exactly what I said earlier. Bitcoin drops 10% as El Salvador accepts Bitcoin as legal tender. You see the pie on the face for El Salvador? You see that? That's not an accident. That is on purpose. If they were going to choose a day to do it, today was the day to do it. This has nothing to do with El Salvador, nothing to do with them accepting Bitcoin, other than this is a mark on a timeline in the history of Bitcoin, and today was chosen as the day to make that final push down to accumulate. I mean, we're going to recover. I mean, we'll be back up well above $50,000.
Yeah, Wavy in Twitch chat saying that's a scary amount of confidence, but they're liking it. You know, they're trusting what they're seeing. But let's end with a little bit of good news here. So Willy Woo, very famous technical analyst, talks about Bitcoin all the time. They're saying it's overall this dump was unsupported by investor fundamentals on chain. And in fact, exchanges are now in outflows, meaning people are buying from the exchanges right now. So we're in outflows. You know, there's a lot of good news on the horizon. Jebb, I mean, are you taking this as face value, or are you saying, you know, maybe this is the red herring and no, it's still going to be very bad tomorrow?
You know, it's funny. I'm one of the chartists on this panel, and I love technical analysis. It's been very, very useful for me over the last 4 years. But I've actually got to agree with Ben right now. For the next couple of days, I don't agree with the next couple of months, but for the next couple of days, I think the charts basically need to be thrown out the window because there's so much fundamentally going on right now. It's really hard to look at any of the data and get a clear picture of what's going on because, like we've been talking about, there is a lot of manipulation going on in this market right now. And as we've been talking about, there is a lot of volatility going on right now. So honestly, I don't know how much I can take into account the on-chain metrics at the moment. I need to go and think about that because there is so much happening. In the same way that I kind of agree with Ben, the charts are a little bit confusing ever since about noon today. I don't know about the on-chains either, so I don't really think so.
We'll see. Now, Tom, you do a lot of TA. After a heavy day of liquidations, is there any kind of thing historically we can expect?
Probably a lot of chilling. Probably a lot of tenseness. Not really. Yeah, we're not going to get what we want here. But
All right.
Let me give you guys a look on this.
Sweaty
I'm not
palms.
really convinced by this. You know, the 10,000, perfect. It's too headline-y. But when you look at the chart here, it's blank. It looks pretty scary. But I think there's some things we need to look at here that are honestly still looking good. We had a very nice pattern. We had what is this? A broadening wedge reversal, right? We broke out through it. We back tested our high trend coming down from our drop. We back tested that pretty quickly. We didn't back test this major part. We just did today within, I don't even know, within $100 maybe. We came back, we kissed it. Now we're back up. I'm thinking if we get a close even today above 46.5, man, this could be the most bullish. I was looking for 42.2. That was really the last line here for me. I was like, if we're trading below that for any real period of time, things look bad. But we didn't. We got so close. We still could. But with that back test, this pattern is complete. We've completed this pattern. If we see any kind of higher high, we're off to the races. This isn't really all doom and gloom.
All right, so we really, just to be clear, we don't really have anyone on the panel today who's like really worried and think, it's over 20, 10, 15. So yeah, we got almost 17,000 people watching. So go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I want to talk on my own show, DZ. If you give me time to talk on my own show, I'd appreciate it.
I was trying to end it early for you, baseball and stuff,
Yeah, well, game's not until 7:15. I'm good. Listen, here's which we're gonna do at the Yankee way tonight. Listen, here's what I want, because I see a lot of comments in the chat. Like, it's so funny when the price starts to drop. Like, people all of a sudden they turn on you and they're like, "Oh, nothing, blah 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 blah. You didn't see this, blah 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 blah." Okay, here's what I want to tell you. Here is the main difference between what we're seeing right now and what we saw in May. This tells you the complete story about whether this is short-term or this is long-term, okay? Back in May, I talked about it on the stream this morning. What started the dump? What started the dump? Does anybody remember what the fundamental event was that started things ticking down
IPO.
on the crash?
Seller
Well,
may
that
walk
was the
away.
peak.
Coinbase IPO, good one, bro. Yeah, I think that was
a
it.
big part.
That's the
part of
peak.
it.
That's the peak. But
Elon
Musk, yes.
Tesla.
Elon skunk.
Yep.
Elon tweeting
Elon
about
tweet.
Bitcoin being bad for the environment. That is what got us below 50,000 and eventually pushed us down. Every time we got to a low point, he would tweet again and it would fall down further. You also, at the same time, had the Bitcoin mining ban in China started. For 1 full month in China, they had a FUD campaign, okay? FUD everywhere. Where's the FUD today? Where is it? What's the narrative today?
Yeah.
What's the story? What is it? That's not FUD. They're just saying, oh, they're accepting it. There's no FUD stories out there right now. They're trying to make El Salvador to look bad, but there's no FUD stories. There's no media-driven narrative. This tells you this was a one-time event. This is not a narrative they want to carry forward because the time is running out in this bull run. This is one last squeeze down to push it back up. The FUD tells the story.
Yeah, the one last squeeze will always get it back up. We're going to end it with one final question. CryptoFace, your next stream, are you playing the rain?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking
The
about.
rain
there,
noise.
but-
So you're going to have the rain in the background? The bearish rain?
No, I think like I said, I'm keeping my eye on the lower time frames right now. I'm seeing money coming back in. I like CNBC being bearish. I like all these logs being liquidated and people not, all this cash being out because that means more for me and my people to buy. So I'm keeping an eye on this on these time frames, and I'm going to be looking to pull some triggers and slaying them things, man.
All right. I think we're all kind of feeling the same. We're maybe looking in for maybe a good point if it does keep on dipping. Maybe a good time to get some of these coins that you may have missed out on. I missed out on VeChain. Maybe this is my last chance. So we'll see. But that is all we got time for today. Yeah. CryptoFace, ADA, yes, down 230. ADA, might want to get that too. CryptoFace ended up with the 19 points. Into there, 1 point above Ben. Ben almost got it there with a nice couple rants there.
Back wins.
CryptoFace, we're gonna let you end it. Give us some parting thoughts. About 30 seconds. Tell the people what they need to hear so they don't jump out a window here.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Are you able to see it real quick?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. Bitcoin on the 5 minute. I said Bitcoin El Salvador. Right now we're in the 10 minute. We're nice and deep into the red. We'll see if it bleeds over, going to like the 15 to 30 minute, the higher time frames. It's not really like showing the curve back up yet, but it is hella deep. We got some BitBoy big green dots here and deep momentum. So I'm looking at market Cipher basic strategy for the money flow to start coming up, RSI to start coming up, VWAP start coming up, everything start coming up right here, and then boom, baby, start to get it. And I feel bad for Ben because he never wins on his own damn show. But yeah, man, I'm looking to get in and fly.
All right. And with that, we're going to take to the wings, take to the sky, and almost 20,000 views. It was a great episode today. Not just the Atlanta Hawks. All right. Well, that's all we got time for today. We will be on tomorrow. Make sure you check the morning stream. And Pluto Alliance dropping soon. That's all we got time for
It's a planet.
It's a planet. Pluto's a planet. Take it later, BitSquad.
No, it's not.